Buonasera. I hope to be ready not to let you dream and sleep at this time, because after fantastic lunch it's difficult to take the audience awake. Anyway, I'm very honored and pleased to be here and to talk in name of CyberSec Italia. And I'm very happy to introduce the panel of today that is about the Mediterranean area. If it's a crossroad for cybersecurity, and it's a question mark how we leave this. And we have a very great panel today with great panelists. I see now my dear friend Yigal Unna, the former director of the Israeli Agency for Cybersecurity. Nice to have you here again. And I hope next time to have you here physically in Rome and not only in Bari last December. And as I have, I want to just have a few words about the problems of cybersecurity in the Mediterranean area. I know that the war is far away from us physically, but now we are experiencing the consequences of some side and indirect effect of the war between Russia and Ukraine. We already knew this morning that Dottoressa Ciardi and also Dottoressa Guidi, Prefetto Guidi, told us which is the threat that we are experiencing now. And besides this, we understand that cybersecurity and cyberspace has become not only a space for financial development and trade, but also it could be a zone of war. So we have to be very careful to improve our cybersecurity. From this aspect, I can tell that European Union has two different approaches, very useful. One is considering the external dimension of cybersecurity, and the other one is the internal dimension. And I'm linking now to the words of Mr. Laparras this morning that was very clear, explaining the difficulties and also the solutions given by ENISA and ISA. The internal dimension of cybersecurity is very important also from an operative aspect. That is, in a few months, European Union will create a joint cyber unit to have an operative also role among member states that have to afford and to experience accident or cybersecurity attacks. And it will also create a cyber shield, European cyber shield. So we must be, also as Italy, we need to have a pivotal role in this internal aspect of cybersecurity. The external part is very well developed, and now I get linked with our first and very important guest. That is, we, European Union, has created in last December a trans-Mediterranean cooperation agenda. And this is very useful because European Union is looking to countries on the other side of the sea. That is the states of Middle East and Northern Africa. Why are we looking to the other side of the Mediterranean Sea? It is because cyberspace has no physical boundaries, no political boundaries. And we have we need as a European Union and also as a NATO to have a space, a cyberspace that should be free, that should be safe, and it should be also democratic. And the only way to reach it is helping each other and working on cooperation. That's why it's very important this helps us to afford to leave other experience, these other threats, that is transnational cybercrime organization. And what we should never forget is cyber terrorism, the threat of cyber terrorism. Now, cyber terrorism in 2017, the European Union has signed an agreement with Jordan to help each other to fight cyber terrorism. So these points we should be taking our mind, because now we are taken by the war between Ukraine and Russia, but we should not forget the other threats that are still on our chess play. So going to Yigal, I would like to pose you some questions that can be useful for us as Italian. Professor Baldoni told a few days ago that Italy misses 100,000 cyber people. That is, we have a gap actually in what is needed, in what we need, and what we have. From your privileged position and your great experience, can you please tell us how can we solve this gap? Thank you. The floor is yours.
Thank you very much. Can you hear me?
Yes, sure. Yes, we can.
Okay, great. From such a quiet and peaceful place like Israel these days, it's amazing to say, but yes, I'm now in one of the most peaceful and quiet places. Usually Italy takes the role, but now also Israel. So we hope it will maintain this way, and peace will come back to Central Europe as well as soon as possible. We're all concerned about that, of course. So about what Baldoni said, I think it's the number even conservative, the gap need for workforce in cybersecurity. We believe it's even much bigger in numbers. If I take the perspective from Israeli population to Italian population, it may be even more. And unfortunately, we believe that the gap will just grow larger as we all go through intensive digital transformation, and a blessed transformation, of course, but it takes its toll, and it have a great demand that the market in its already existing measures cannot fill the ranks properly. So what are the remedies? First, we need to see how we can educate, not in the universities. That's happening, and in the great University of Bari, you came from, Anita, you have programs and other great universities in Italy, as well as in Israel. But we need to begin in much early stages, in high schools and even before high schools, in what we call a data orientation, to begin. And it's something that it's relatively easy to implement, to build and implement, because we must remember all the time that our kids, the younger generation, is born and raised in an age that it's much easier to transform. They don't need to transform. They are born into a digital age. So we need to make sure that even in younger ages, but how we can close the gap today, well, we need to convert. And the conversion means to go to the already starving high-tech industry and to attract those who meet the standards and can do cyber software programming and other cyber capacities, pen testing and others, and to convert them. And we have some programs in Israel that already grows globally. You can check Saitaka, for example, and other programs that takes by gaming, by incentives that attract young people to not to just do programming, software programming in all the languages and methods already exist, but to focus on the methodology of cybersecurity. That we find a fast and relatively easy way, although it's kind of cannibalism with already
Yigal, sorry if I interrupt you, but yeah, I would like to know, to be clear to our audience, do you mean that our system of education to change, or we should introduce a change in it? Because if we only have a course for university students, it means that it's not enough to create a solid basis and the right generation to be cyber warrior or cyber people?
I'll be crystal clear. Yes, the current education systems, unfortunately, in all the West, by the way, it's a little different in Russia. It's much more different in China. And we need to catch up with them. We need to adjust our good and bad education system. I'm not judgmental, but we need adjustment. And check, let's look at the mirror. What was the last time that we had a big shift in our basic education in graduate schools and in high schools dealing with technology? It's a lack of teachers, it's a lack of resources, And the kids, the students, our kids, they many times can teach their teachers. They know and they are up to date better than the teachers. That should and must be changed. And it's something that governments and I almost said us, but for 2 months I am a former, so it's them. But the government should take care of, but not only the governments. Don't wait for the governments. The industry should step in. And when I say industry, it's not just the cyber industry, but the customers, the clients of the cyber, those who suffer from the gap, the lack of a good cyber workforce. We need to step in and to get resources and to even, for example, we have cyber analysts and pen testers. They're great. Why don't we give them 1 day in a week or 1 day in 2 weeks to go to high schools or to graduate schools and teach? We've done that in Israel. We've doing that for many years, and it's doing miracles because for not for everybody. You know, some geeks, some hackers, they don't like to meet people, but many do, and they like to share their ideas, and they like to teach, and they like it's nice to stand in a class and get the attention and show them how smart you are, and they are smart. So we find it's a win-win situation for the analyst, the cyber workforce, to have some change, to have some out of the routine of the daily job. They get better because once you stand, and Anita, you can testify yourself, you're a very good professor. So before you stand in front of class, you should be very good in what you're about to teach. So it's upgrade the level of the already working force. So by that, you can multiply pretty fast in a couple of months, whole classes with using only one teacher that you delegate it or give it from the industry. That's one solution. Another, as I mentioned, programmers. They like, not everyone is fit to. Cybersecurity is not a typical programming. You need more manipulative approach. You need a cat and mouse thinking of how to abuse vulnerabilities and so on. So not everybody is fit for, but those who are, they find it very attractive. And again, it has some cannibalizing effects on the other high-tech industry, but it's easier to fill the gap that they create when moving to cybersecurity with students than to get from scratch a good cyber programmer from the street, as we call it.
Yes, I have another question now, going back to our chess play. That is, we have a problem with cyber defense. And can you please tell us how cooperation in the Mediterranean region can help Italy and other countries to better cyber defense?
Yes, it's a great question, and I saw the logo that Italia, Europe, and the Mediterranean. Maybe we should also add Adriatic Sea.
Yes, absolutely. Yes, we never looked on that side, but it's compulsory now. Yes.
After being to Bari, I must say to Puglia, yes, don't miss that. So yes, as you mentioned, and I heard some of the lectures before. Well, if you can describe cybersecurity in one word, it will be partnerships. It's not enough to mention more and more how crucial it is to any defender, any cybersecurity player, to play a team play. In fact, if you don't play a team play, you're about to extinct. So, with whom do you want to partner? That's a big question. The Israeli answer is with everyone that is like-minded. The Israeli National Directorate that I used to to be Director General just 2 months ago, we had an ongoing, almost a daily basis, relations with 90 countries. Some of them from the Mediterranean, but you need all around. Why is that? For many reasons, but one of the obvious reasons, just bear in mind that when somebody attacks Italy, Israel, or any other country, usually they don't go directly. They go through third, fourth, and five parties, other countries, and they try to disguise and hide their attack vector through other countries. If you want to be efficient in avoiding, preventing, or detecting even the attack in advance, you should work and have an umbrella as wide and strong as you can, as far away from your own premises in order to detect, and then you have a much better chance to mitigate it and prevent it. Mediterranean, why? Because we share the same interests. We have the natural resources, mainly gas, that drawn up from the sea in the platforms just outside Israel and move through Cyprus, through Greece, to Italy, to the rest of the world. We have maritime. We share the same bath here, the Mediterranean, and we share the same maritime route and challenges. And the cyber challenge becomes more and more imminent, also on many transportation methods, but more and more on maritime. So we even in Israel, we launched 2 years ago, just before the COVID-19, that little hold it back, the MCI, the Mediterranean Maritime Cybersecurity Initiative, comprised from all the major players in the Mediterranean, and fortunately, even Morocco had the chance to join it since the Abraham Accord a year and a half ago, or a year ago. So we need to stand together, as the common saying says very easily, united. It's more relevant than in any other field. And in the Mediterranean, we hadn't have the right format yet. We need to build it. And Mediterranean, Adriatic, specifically something that also Israel is part of. And about Italy's role, well, we waited for you, I must say.
We take the challenge, we accept the challenge, and I like to quote Michael Jordan, it is, we don't want to win the match, we want to win the championship, and so we agree working together, absolutely. Thank you very much, Yigal, thank you for being here, and hope to see you next time physically in Italy and better in Bari.
Thank you very much.